Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to The Success. We all know who Steve Jobs is. He's a genius who revolutionized modern technology and the mastermind who emphasized style as much as function in our everyday digital devices. However, I can bet there are a few facts about Steve Jobs you don't know that would shock you. There's a lot more to his life than we all think, and that is exactly why we're going to present to you today 10 untold truths about Steve Jobs' success. But guys, before we start, real quick, I'd want you to hit that red subscribe button to enter our monthly shout out giveaway. Just comment down below saying I subscribed and we'll enter you into the giveaway. Number 1. Jobs' biological parents had one mandate: that Jobs be adopted by two college-educated people. The biological parents found out that neither Clara or Paul Jobs had ever graduated from college, but the adoption went through when it was promised that Steve Jobs would receive a university education. Funny that Jobs went on to become a college dropout. Number 2. While unofficially attending classes, Jobs struggled to get by. He slept on his friends' dorm room floors, returned Coke bottles for money, and survived off free meals from the local Hare Krishna temple. Number 3. Why was he fired from his own company? Everyone knows that in 1985, Steve Jobs was fired from Apple. Some might even know that it had to do with the fallout between Steve and John Sculley, Apple's CEO at the time. But few know exactly in what consisted the disagreement. Well, Steve Jobs wanted to drop the price of the underperforming Macintosh and shift large portion of the advertising budget away from Apple II over to the Mac. Sculley disagreed. He argued the price had no bearing into Macintosh's poor sales, but rather the unimpressive software it ran. Sculley took the matter to the Apple's board of directors, which sided with the former Pepsi CEO, thus firing Jobs. Number 4. Before starting Apple, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak built and sold digital blue boxes, a $100 equipment that could hack telephone systems and allowed them to make calls to any number in the world. One of the first calls they made using the blue box was to the Vatican, with Wozniak pretending to be Henry Kissinger. They asked to talk to the Pope, without success. Number 5. In the early 80s, Steve Jobs visited Adobe Systems. Impressed with their technology, Jobs made an offer to Adobe co-founder Charles Geschke to buy the company and integrate it into Apple. Geschke refused it. Apple and Adobe had a very good professional relationship until Apple of Steve, by the end of the first decade of the 21st century, decided to rid their very commercially successful mobile devices of Adobe Flash. Number 6. The movie Anywhere But Here, starring Natalie Portman and Susan Sarandon, was dedicated to him and was based on a book written by his sister, Mona Simpson. The story is about a mother and daughter who are searching for success in Beverly Hills. Anywhere But Here is dedicated to, quote, my brother Steve. Number 7. He took LSD in his younger days and had no regrets. In a book interview, Jobs called his experience with the drug, quote, one of the 2 or 3 most important things I've done in my life. As Jobs himself has suggested, LSD may have contributed to the think different approach that still puts Apple's design a head above the competition. Number 8. Steve Jobs kept his salary at $1 since 1997, the year he became Apple's lead executive. Of his salary, Jobs joked in 2007, I get 50 cents a year for showing up, and the other 50 cents is based on my performance. Number 9. Steve Jobs calls one of the mysteries of life how his friend and Apple's co-founder Steve Wozniak never built a floating point basic for the Apple II, despite Jobs having begged him for several weeks to do it. As a result of Wozniak's refusal, Jobs reached out to Microsoft to license Bill Gates' BASIC. Number 10. Jobs had an illegitimate child, Lisa Brennan, when he was 23, whose paternity he denied for years. Lisa's mother had to use welfare checks to raise her child. Eventually, Jobs did accept Lisa as his legitimate child, and she changed her name to Lisa Brennan Jobs. Alright guys, this does bring us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, if you could please check out one of the 2 videos you're seeing on screen right now, it really does help us out. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.